What's up, everybody? I am back here today on a site with Kevin McGuire of BT Grace Homes. This side is a little bit more finished than the last one we saw,
Yep.
Kevin. Still very much a construction scene.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on still while we're here, but there are also a lot more finished details than there were in the last home.
Absolutely.
And some of those Kevin wants to show us today, so he's going to take us around and show us a few of those things.
Yeah, we'll start off outside. I'll show you a few details out there, and then we'll come back in.
All right, sounds good. Let's go.
So I don't know if you'll pick this up on camera. You hear the car noise outside?
I do.
Now, we're still missing a deadbolt.
Right.
The front door is wide open.
Right.
The road noise is almost gone. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's
you can't hear
quiet.
it when like we're having a conversation. You can't hear it. I love that about this, and the way that we accomplish that is we've got a 1-inch poly ISO all the way around the whole exterior of this house.
Okay, so you have exterior insulation,
correct,
which is poly ISO. Are we doing
correct.
Interior insulation as
we
well?
We did.
Okay, so the poly ISO is really there for sound barrier reasons, or is it? I mean, it's adding some R value as well.
It's twofold. So we wanted it here particularly for the sound deadening, but on this house, we had already designed this house before we started building, and before I really learned about more advanced framing techniques and how to get better R value. So it's a 2x4 wall. So I wanted to up that R value quite a bit, and the way that I did that is I put an R6 on the outside. We still did advanced framing, so I've got the California corners, all the stuff you saw in the other house, but we've got R6 outside and then spray foam R13 on the inside, which gives us a higher effective R value because now we've got no thermal bridging on our walls at all, except for, where my doors are. So out here, I'll show you our outside details with our windows. These are underneath a covered patio, so we don't have any flashing above the windows here, but I'll take you around the corner and I'll show you our head flashing above the windows.
Hold on one second. This is fiber cement board siding, right?
Correct.
And this is obviously masonry. This is brick.
It is.
Now, I know that the instruction manual for fiber cement board siding says there is supposed to be a piece of flashing in between these two building materials. So you tell me why you caulked it instead of flashing it, because it's not supposed to do that, Kevin.
It's not supposed to do that. It took a lot of thought process to get to where we are today. Okay. So we didn't just slap it up.
So this is on purpose.
This is very much
intentional.
On purpose.
Okay.
So what's going on behind the wall, if we had x-ray vision, what we could see is you start off with the LP Weather Logic, and that's our sheathing plus WRB. It's taped, 100% sealed, and before we applied our poly ISO, we did an air test with the blower door. We achieved 0.8 on this one, and on the house next door, 0.75, so very, very close.
Got it.
And air tightness. And code is what? 4 ACH 50 if you're Energy Star rated, and 5 if you're just bare minimum code. So we're well beyond that. All that is being said just so you know how tight our WRB is.
But why do you not have flashing?
Yes, I'm getting there. So we've got our poly ISO on top of our Weather Logic. Our windows are actually bucked out, so they're 1.5 inch boards going all the way around our window.
Okay.
That puts it out. So it looks like there's nothing back there.
Right, right.
And so that poly ISO is continuous from top to bottom.
Okay.
On top of that, we've got a 1/2 inch rain screen product.
Okay.
I'll show you that here in just a second, but it's another 1/2 inch there. So we've got that purposeful drainage cavity, that drainage plane, and if we would have ended up putting a flashing here, we would have interrupted that. Go ahead.
I think I know what you're going with
Yes.
here. Okay, so the reason why we've got caulking here is to keep water from getting in this joint.
Yes.
Because you're not worried about whether this could fail one day.
It could.
But you're not really worried about whether or not it fails because you're not as much worried about keeping water out because you're already letting water out.
I'm already letting water out.
Okay.
So we're vented at the bottom on this wall with our vents for our brick.
No.
And then at the top, I'll show you here in just a second on a detailed close-up, but we left a gap. So that way we get a convective flow that, in the summer as it heats up or just as the sun hits it on a normal day.
It gives that wall cavity a chance to dry out.
Yes, it'll let it dry.
Okay,
So
good stuff.
we didn't want to impede the water from getting out, and this is what we came up with. So
I'm a believer. You sold me.
So here we are on a gable end wall. It's not underneath the porch. We've got our weeps at the bottom, same little brick detail. Sorry, I threw you off there. Same little brick detail. Got our weeps here. And again, we're caulked. So follow me up, and you see it's a lap siding, which lap siding is already going to let air in anyways. But we left it open at the freeze board. We've got 3/8 to a 1/2 inch gap at the very top, just to give us that convective airflow that we're looking for to let it dry, because it's gonna get condensation through here.
Sure.
We're gonna need to let that dry. So, and then you can see through here the polyiso behind it, and then what you can't see is this is from Keen Building Products. It is their rain screen material. They're 4 inch strips, and they're every bit of a 1/2 inch thick.
Sure.
And it's really cool because individually you can compress these. Okay, so I was kind of skeptical when we first got this, but if you come up to it and you try to push with any spread force, it doesn't move at all.
Interesting.
So it's a very cool product. Bugs are going to have a very hard time getting up here, and we ran a line all the way at the bottom and a row all the way at the top. That way we try to keep bugs from getting back there, even though I'm not really worried about a dirt dauber blocking it up, but just in case anybody asks.
I see a box, and I think I recognize the name, and I think I know what's going on in here.
Yeah.
And I think it's a product that I recognize, and I'm very happy that you chose this product. So let's open up this box and show everybody what's in here.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So this is Eric's, is the manufacturer.
Okay.
And this is new to me, but again, I learned this from Matt Reisinger and all his build show videos. But this is their outlet cover for HVACs.
Right.
So we've got our pressure and our return lines out here for the Freon that's going to go to our condenser unit out here. And go ahead. And so this has got this beautiful gasket on it. And then I love this rubber. So this is
very
like flexible,
pliable. So no matter what you put around, it's going to make a good seal.
Yeah, it'll seal up nice and tight.
And so what's cool is that you've got, this is like an insulation wrap.
Protection wrap.
That goes around your line set and everything. And so it's going to make that a little bit larger. And so that when it goes through this gasket, it's going to be nice and airtight. Yes. And then you got your Tapcon screws. You're just going to screw
straight
it right
into the brick.
And everything's going to be nice and secure, insulated, and nice and airtight.
Exactly.
Plus the way it's just designed with this bevel to let water flow off of it. Everything is designed going slightly downward, so that it's going to shed water, not trap any water. So you get all of the elements of sealing from air intrusion and keeping water from getting back there. So you got everything there. Now, are you going to use any type of sealant product on the to seal this to the wall, or are you just going straight gasket?
I think I'm just going to straight gasket. I will caulk across the top and the sides, but I'm going to leave the bottom open.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely do that. I agree that maybe the gasket would just make a tight seal up against the brick, but then just seal along here
seal that edge.
As an extra layer of protection. And plus, I honestly just like the look.
Well, and it's more for us on this application, protection of our foam from UV exposure,
another
bugs.
layer of
It's
defense.
just an extra layer, because what we did behind here is I split these lines. They normally come in a set. Well, I asked the AC guy to split them at the wall, so we had one penetration per hole.
Okay.
And I sealed it, so it's nice and airtight already.
I've seen those details.
Yeah, so it's coming from somebody we've already talked about.
That's right. That's right.
So it's already airtight. Like, I'm not worried about that. Now, this is just that whole belt and suspenders approach.
Yeah.
It's extra protection. These things are not very expensive.
Well, when we've talked about stuff like this before, and I have made videos on stuff like this before. And the thing is and how much is this product? Do you mind me asking? Just a roundabout ballpark.
I want to say it was like $130 to $150.
So the amount
with the wrap.
Okay, and the amount of damage. First of all, that wrap's going to protect your insulation, and so you're protected there, and that needs to be there. We all know that, but the amount of damage that you are subject to if you leave this in this shape, which I see, or with pore flashing around this, or if any type of moisture intrusion, anything around this area, or let's face it, if you get air in this area, air creates condensation, you create a mold situation inside this wall cavity. That's going to cost a whole lot more than using a product like this that can better seal everything up and prevent you from having those issues.
Ask any HVAC guy if they'll come do a service call for less than $150.
Yeah, there you go.
And
there you
know that right there, if it saves you one service call, it's paid for itself.
Good stuff.
And it's going to save you a lot more than that.
Okay, so we're inside the house now, and we're going to talk ERVs. What's an ERV, Kevin?
So ERV is an energy recovery ventilator.
All right. I do not see too many of these in our area. I've seen a few of them. They're outside of my scope as a home inspector, but obviously that's never stopped me from learning information about them before. Yeah. I know a little bit, but people that know a little bit enough to be dangerous, I know a little bit. I'd like to know a lot more. I think you're a little bit further along than me. So I want to talk to you about an ERV system real quick. You have one on this house. You put them on all of your houses. Is that correct?
That's a new standard for us. Okay. Yes.
And so I want to kind of go over some things about that. And the best place to do that is back over here in the master bedroom shower. Absolutely. And so let's go take a look at that.
Yeah, let's go. So welcome to our master bathroom.
Okay.
So we've got a wire sticking out of the wall here.
Right.
You wouldn't typically see this, in a regular regular build.
What are we dealing with there?
So this is our boost control switch that goes directly to our ERV.
All right. What does that do?
So an ERV runs 24/7.
Okay.
It's constantly taking air out of the house and bringing air in. So it's taking stale air out, bringing in fresh. And it's filtering it. It's a complete standalone system. But so it's running all that time at a very low level, maybe 20, 25 CFM, somewhere in there. After a shower, you've got the old school fart fans that are supposed to take out humidity, but nobody uses them for that. Right. Well, after a shower.
Which is actually what they are for. They're actually not for smells.
They're not for smells. They are to take the humidity out of the bathrooms and the wet areas because they're in laundry rooms too.
Right.
So this one's running 24/7 at about 20, 25 CFM. After a shower, that's not really enough to take all that moisture out. It'll do it, but you want to boost it. So the ERV itself will go up to 100 CFM.
Okay.
And what this will do, you'll have a 20-minute, 40-minute, 60-minute switch. You just push the button, let it run. It'll shut itself off and go back down to normal speed, and it just takes the humidity out quick.
It's pulling air out of the house. So where is it pulling it from?
So in here, you'll see we have two vents.
Yeah,
They look like two vents, right?
Yeah, it looks like two supplies to me.
That's our actual supply register.
Okay.
This is our ERV exhaust register.
Okay, so this is pulling air and taking it out from there.
Correct.
And the air that's coming out of this supply right here is from the HVAC system.
From the HVAC system. So that's nice, cold, conditioned air. This is humid, wet, like just moist air.
And it's get it out of here.
It's going straight back to the ERV, and I'll walk you through this, the ERV cartridge.
So with my limited knowledge on ERVs, let me just tell you in layman's terms, like what I know of them, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong, and then we can kind of go from there, right?
Perfect.
And so you've got your HVAC system that is supplying air to the house, right, to whatever temperature you're calling for.
Correct.
And you've got your ERV, which does both. It pulls air in from outside, and it exhausts air back to outside, right?
Exactly.
Now, the air that you're pulling in from outside isn't obviously going to be the desired temperature, usually most times of the year. And so you want, in a sense, it's using the inside air, the exhaust air, to, in a way, condition. It's transferring that temperature to the air coming inside so that it is tempered enough where your system doesn't have to overwork to. Now, it's not going to be the same temperature air that's coming out of your supply register from your HVAC system. So if you're getting 55 degrees when you've got the AC running, you might be getting 65, 70, something like that.
It depends on the temperature outside.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on that, but it's not going. It's bringing in air, which you need from outside, but it's not bringing in 100-degree air even on that day. So you've got the cartridge for the ERV here. So let's talk about this for a second.
So we pulled this out. This is our Brown AI 100 CFM unit. This is the actual magic box that does all the work.
Okay.
So
very simple.
It's very simple. And that's what I love about ERVs. They are not complex. We make them sound like they're very complex, but they're super simple. It's 2 ECM motor fans that are variable speed. They're super energy efficient. It might cost you $100 to run this thing for the whole year. It's Energy Star rated, but back to the cartridge here, if you see, it's almost like a corrugated material, like for a sign.
Right.
And you've got these holes here. So air's coming in here, coming out over here. Because it sits in the unit just like this, in this diamond shape.
Right.
And then air's coming in here and going out here. So this side might be, you know, your supply. So the air from outside's coming in and going to the house. The air from inside the house is exhausting and going outside. Well, these holes don't line up.
Right. So they don't kind of communicate with each other. Air's not actually mixing.
It's not touching. So it's got this little membrane here, and it's super genius how they did this. But it will up to 70% efficiency, meaning if it is 100 degrees outside, it's going to drop that outdoor temperature 30 degrees, you know, maybe 30 degrees. But if it's 100 outside, it'll probably be pulling in, I'm thinking it's going to go around 80 to, you know, 75, 80.
Which is then going to go through your home's HVAC system.
Exactly.
And I guess we can talk about where that's going whenever it comes in, because there's a proximity thing to where those are located near the return.
Correct.
So yeah, we'll talk about that when we run over in the master. It's very interesting, and it seems like it would be a much better way to bring fresh air in our house than the typical fresh air intakes that we see, which don't do any of this exchanging.
They don't, and they're just bringing in hot, humid air or cold air or, you know, whatever's outside. They do have limit sensors, but it's, you know.
Yeah, unless they're not installed with the limit sensors correctly.
That's also very true.
Yes. Let's take a look in the master, and we'll talk about where the supplies are located and what's going on as far as the ERV system is concerned.
Yeah, because it's not just exhaust; it's fresh air as well.
Right.
So here we are coming into the master bedroom. Excuse the tile. We are still a work in progress here. So good size master. We do have 2 supplies, and that are, you know, these are our air conditioning
coming from the HVAC.
Coming from the HVAC system. So it's cold AC, hot air in the sun in the wintertime. And then if you notice, we've got this really small little 6-inch over here.
Right.
This is our ERV. It's a fresh air supply. So it's supposed to bring the fresh air in. And when you're sleeping, CO2 levels go up. So this ERV system should actually help you with sleep, because it'll keep you oxygenated better, because we are in a super airtight house, right? The other thing that we have that you may or may not always see in other builders' houses, we have dedicated returns in all of our rooms. One of the reasons is my passive house teachings and learnings is we're only allowed to have so many pascals of pressure difference from this bedroom past that door and with that door closed. This is, you could do 2 methods. You could do a jump duct, a grill, or a dedicated return. We go with dedicated returns. I feel like it gets us a better airflow in the house. That's also why we have to do the ERV.
Right. So I mean, is there some science or thought process between where the return is versus where the supply is from the ERV?
Yeah. So the bigger thing when it comes to ERV distance requirements, the really only one is 6 feet from an exhaust, and they're mainly talking about cooktop exhaust.
Sure.
But we did that as well everywhere else, because I don't want this, you know, nice fresh air coming in, not dispersing in the room and just going in and then right back through the return.
Okay.
Theoretically, it's still going to go through your HVAC system, and the air is still going to, you know, help you. Because one thing that people don't understand about HVAC systems, they don't pull outside air into the house.
Right.
They only take the air that is in the house, run it through the circulation of that unit. It doesn't go outside.
So we need some type of system to bring in fresh air to dilute the toxins that are in the air, and we're not getting it otherwise unless you open doors and windows.
Yeah.
And we live in the Houston area. We're not opening doors.
Yeah, there's like 5 days
today.
a year. Yeah, there's like 5 days a year that you could do that.
All right, so we're in the laundry room now, and Kevin says he's got a surprise for me in the laundry room. So what do you got, Kevin? What's going on here?
Well, I mean,
It looks very typical to me. I mean, we've got our dryer vent. We're doing electrics. We don't have any gas in this house.
No gas in the house.
We've got the plumbing for the wash machine. Yeah. We've got electrical. We're gonna have a laundry sink.
I got a sink. That's the surprise.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the surprise. I'm not gonna lie because I didn't expect one in this house. Yeah. But you've got a laundry sink.
I mean, you don't see those much anymore.
What is going on here?
Good. Check this out.
So you have the sub panel inside the house.
Yes, I did.
In the laundry room. Now, I haven't seen anything like this since like the 90s.
Yeah.
So not that I'm not saying that I dislike it at all.
Yeah.
I would much prefer this to be in the house than on the outside of the house. Although, don't get me wrong, they make these boxes ready to go outside. Not these boxes, but there are boxes that are ready to go outside. But these panels can be outside. They can be in the garage. But you have chosen very specifically and very intentionally to put this in the laundry room. Tell us why.
Yes. 2 reasons. One, we have a really precise air barrier on this house.
Okay.
I didn't want, there's probably 20 circuits in here.
Well, let's see how many.
So
we don't have to count.
Yeah. Like if you're gonna make me count, but no, there's quite a few circuits in here. Yep. Each circuit has a wire of its own going to it. The bigger ones have big thick wires. The small ones have little wires. Yeah. But imagine trying to get an airtight house, and electricians. I used to be an electrician. We're not gonna drill a bunch of little holes and run each one through there and air seal nice and tight. They're going to get out their big old hole saw. They're going to make a big old hole, throw all the wires through there, and then maybe through some foam or maybe not even do anything. Right. And that's just a big, giant air leak through the house.
It's a big gap.
But if you notice, there's no main breaker.
Right. So that's on the outside.
It's on the outside. The other thing, reason 2, because I did say 2, I used to be an electrician. If you have a breaker trip, is it ever at a convenient time?
No, and I mean that's the reason why. I like the garage. But I just don't like outside because 100% I've had to go outside in the rain, in the dark, and flip a breaker back.
Exactly.
And so I like being able to avoid that. Yeah. Now I think obviously as a homeowner, this isn't something you're going to want to leave clear. You're not going to want to put any furnishings in front of this because it'll block this. Yes. I think there's some code reasons you have to leave it clear. I even think there's an updated code where maybe this might be a problem. So right now it's not, at least not in this area. And honestly, I mean, this situation we used to put them in clothing closets.
Exactly.
And literally put clothes in front of them, right?
And
this
now
is always going to be accessible. As a matter of fact, even though this may or may not be a problem, this will always be accessible because of this door. Yes. It will always be open. Yes. And so you won't have any furnishings here blocking this. So actually, in some respect, I think having it in this position and behind this door can actually be a good thing because it'll keep it clear.
And if it ever does become a code issue, all you got to do is flip the swing on the door.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because we do have 3x3 space in front of it, or 4x4, whatever you need. But
that wouldn't be an issue. It'd only be an issue for you. It's not going to be an issue for homeowners. Those homeowners expecting you to bring your home up to code.
No.
And there's things that are grandfathered in. This was definitely allowed when this house was built. Obviously, it's under construction, but in this jurisdiction right now, this is allowed. And 100%. So whether or not it will be it isn't really a factor here. And although a home inspector might call this out as an accessibility issue because it's not up to current standards or something like that, it's never a problem that a homeowner is going to have to correct. And this is acceptable for today's standards. And honestly, with all being said, I like the placement. All right, so moving on, we are in the master shower now, and you've got a couple of details you wanted to point out in this shower for me, right? Yeah. All right, what you got going on here?
So this is one of the smaller showers I've ever built. No, I'm just kidding. Initially, this was supposed to be a very cool double entry shower.
Okay.
But we actually shifted the office, gave it a closet to make it more functional, to turn this into a 4-bedroom.
Okay.
So that left us with a really big, nice shower. So we got 2 supply valves, we got a diverter, we got 2 regular shower heads, and then we've also got a rain head above us.
Okay.
But what I want to show you is the Schluter Curdy board system. These are just the bee's knees, man. This is the coolest thing since sliced bread to me. If you've ever done a shower before in your life, and and had to build it out of wood and then skin it with cement board and then waterproof it. It's just a process that one is going to leak.
Right.
Not if, but
fail.
when. It's going to fail. This is Schluter's Curdy board. It's their styrofoam system.
Okay.
And it is already pre-made in a box. So this was pre-made. I bought it off the shelf. We came in, we've already waterproofed our walls. We ran our Curdy membrane on the bottom, and we came 6-8 inches up and lapped that in with our waterproofing. And then this just sets on top. It's already pre-made, it's already waterproof. You just set it in. And it's reassurance for me because I have to warranty this. I have to stand behind this product. And I don't want to get a call, hey, my shower's leaking.
Is it sloped?
It is sloped. It's actually got a pre-slope built into it.
Okay, so the water drains off of it.
Water will drain right off and into the drain. And we've got a large format tile going on this one, but the top of it is actually going to be quartz.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't like grout lines up here.
Right.
You know, the fewer grout lines, the better.
Sure.
That's why we did the large format, but also on top, it'll just be a smooth slope. You'll still be able to use it to set shampoo on, you know, shave your legs, whatever. If you do that kind of thing, I don't know.
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
There was that one time in high school on swim team. No. But, you know, it's a spec. Have I done the whole shower in Schluter before? 100%. On a custom house, if that's what the owner wants. This is a spec. We're trying to do really cool things, but also we got to keep budget in mind.
So that's important to mention here. So this is a spec home. And so you don't have anybody that has specifically ordered this stuff. You're building this to your specifications. That is what spec means.
Yes.
And so you are taking control of where to cut costs so that you can put that money towards areas where you think actually make a big difference.
100%.
Because you feel like this is fine for this area of the wall.
Yes.
Whoa, just knock something off. You think this is fine for this area of the wall, but down here you want to go with something that you really feel like is going to be watertight,
durable.
And that's really going to bring the value down here that you don't feel like you really need.
Yeah. And this, we did 3 layers of the Maypie to build up the mill thickness.
I mean, this is already so much better than what you're getting in a production build, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about that. That's already so much better. So I think that's the deal. Could you run this stuff all the way up? You could, but you don't really feel the need to because you feel like this is going to do a good enough job, and you can put those funds towards other things that you feel like are going to be other high performance details of this house.
Yeah, like our ERV.
Yeah, there you go.
The money I saved by not running Curdy up the walls paid for the ERV.
Excellent.
You know, it's a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Like I would rather the house have really good lungs to breathe and control the indoor environment. And this is a tried and true method. Like
been around for ages.
It's been around for ages.
Yeah.
So I trust it. I've used it. It's in my own house even. There's benefits to everything and there's cost to everything, and you got to weigh them. So.
I definitely like what you've done in here, and I think it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it when it's all finished.
Yeah.
All right, so we're here in the kitchen now, and you got a little hidden detail you want to show us in here. Is that correct?
So it's not all about performance. Sometimes it's about aesthetic. I like a nice clean backsplash with nothing, no plugs. So if you notice on this one, we don't have any plugs.
But that's required by code, Kevin.
It is required by code. And I'm going to go above code by giving you more plugs than you could ever use in your entire life. So you'll see I've got the white wire. These are for my lights because I'll have under cabinet lighting.
Right.
And then the yellow is a 20 amp circuit, and that's for my GFCI. The breaker is GFCI. Right. So this just is going to be a plug mold strip, and it's hidden.
Yeah.
And it'll be like
a whole bunch of them.
A whole bunch. It's like 3 plugs per foot. So 3 plugs per foot and a half. So you get
plug anything
numerous amount of plugs. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
And if you got a coffee maker sitting here, you just plug it right in.
Right.
And you know, if you want to leave it here, you leave it here. It hides the wire better. Like it's just, it's a clean look.
That's good stuff. And plus this just goes on, you have to cut it and go around everything. And you see those outlets that just
sit
all
quite right. And then the plates don't fit right. And you know, you got this just,
it'll be a nice clean look.
It will.
Back
Never talk so much.
I know. You horse tonight. All right, well, that was great. Thanks a lot, Kevin, for showing us around. You got a beautiful house going on over here. We even got another house that he's got going on here. We didn't even get to visit that one.
Didn't get in
but
there.
maybe next time.
Yep.
That one's just in about the same shape as this one.
It is.
So maybe another time we'll come visit that one and maybe some other stuff. You guys follow Kevin at BT Grace Homes on Instagram. I'm Matt with Texas Edge Home Inspections. We're going to get out of here because it's getting late, and
it is.
And we got other things to do. So hey, like, share, comment, all of that stuff. Subscribe, do all that cool stuff. Let's get out of here. Matt, Kevin, we'll catch you on the next one.
Appreciate you coming out, man.